Almost everybody I know these days are playing video games. Thinking about it, I don't think I know a single kid who doesn't play. Seems obvious, but with the amount of players these days, shouldn't we take the time to understand the games being played? The video game industry is only growing larger, and a lot of us are either finding ourselves or people we care about really involved in them. So to make sure that we keep a healthy relationship with them, let's look into the two sides of video games. Enter a brand new world. One with new places to explore, skills to master, characters you'll fall in love with, and stories you'll remember for the rest of your life. These games are true pieces of art. They created a world you care about and gave you a great experience. An added bonus is that they increase overall dexterity, analytical skills, and strategic thinking. Now, enter the darker side of video games. Forget about the player experience, it's about getting the money. Designed as psychological terrors, they play subtle tricks on your brain, making you want to play more and more. Soon enough, you get desensitized and the dopamine reward isn't strong enough, making you play until the entire day is gone. These games can be very, very toxic. I've had experience with both, so let me help you differentiate the games inherently designed to eat time and those that provide a great experience. In the beginning, almost any game can be a good learning experience. Games took up a great portion of my childhood. Lots of Mario, Sonic, MapleStory, Fire Emblem, Smash Bros, Dynasty Warriors, Power Stone, DDR, and random arcade games. I think each game gave me some value. I learned strategy and management from Fire Emblem. I learned some history from Dynasty Warriors. I learned how to pick myself up and try again at the hardest stages of Sonic and Mario. I learned how to not care about what people say online from MapleStory. Smash really brought out the competitive spirit in me, and DDR got me into dance before I even knew I liked dance. The point is, in the youth stages, a lot of kids can learn a whole lot from just playing video games, especially when they're reading instructions from places like GameFAQs. This is an incredible thing about video games: exploration, new experiences, new skills. But there's a point where things get dangerous. I noticed it primarily in MapleStory. It's a pretty easy feeling to notice too. It's called the grind. More specifically, the grind for stuff. This is the first design trait of a game leaning towards the dark side. These games are designed to make players grind for hours, and then the process is just repeated. You just sit there doing the same thing, not really thinking much, maybe with a video playing in the background. If this is you, you are getting into the danger zone. When there's no new experiences, challenges, or substance left, that game has gone to the other side. It can feel subjective at times, but I think most people can really feel it when they've reached that point. But in case there's doubt, ask yourself this: what do I really gain from playing this game, and is it worth the resources I'm putting into it? This brings us to a trait of better games. They feel like they provided you with a real experience that was worth the money, time, energy, and attention. Another trait of better games is that they engage you in more ways than one. Take Dark Souls as an example. If you want to beat the game without guides, you have to explore to become familiar with the world, become skilled with the game mechanics, pay attention to what characters are saying, and much more. It's immersive on more than one level. An example of the opposite would be a game that has one mechanic that engages you, which are most mobile games. This brings us to the second trait of the dark side: games that have a seemingly endless value in repetitive gameplay. The design of Candy Crush is the ultimate example of this. If you've ever played the game, it feels like you can go on forever. These games are the biggest time consumers and should be played with caution. In high school, I came up with 2 rules for video games that I tried my best to follow. Rule number 1, only play games with this trait when friends are physically there to play that game with you. Rule 2, only play games with an ending. If you follow these 2 rules, games have a tendency to stay on the light side. There is a wrong way to approach it though. During the summers, I would play for 8+ hours on consecutive days to finish a game. I didn't really care to talk to anyone, and I didn't really do much but sit while playing, so you can imagine what that did to my health. Which leads to the last point. The final key factor to whether a game is positive or negative is you. Regardless of game design, you have the choice whether or not to put down a game after experiencing all the positives. You also have the choice to keep playing for countless hours after that point. It ultimately falls on the player's decision. Video games hold great power. The more we understand them, the greater our chances are of having a healthy relationship with them. If you currently don't have a healthy relationship with video games, my next video will cover how to manage or stop playing video games altogether. To summarize, different games inherently have an affinity for light or dark, but we ultimately determine which side they land on. Games that emphasize the grind and endless repetitive play have a tendency to fuel your compulsion to play more and more. On the other side, games that emphasize the overall experience by engaging you through immersive storytelling, good mechanics, layered characters, and an interesting world leave a lasting impression like a beautiful piece of art. These are the games that can inspire.